Today we're going to be talking about Part-Time the Series Episode 13 and Caste Heaven Volume 1. So don't change that video because we are going to start right now. Hi, my name is Devin Jackson Randall, or DJR, and welcome to Queer Fudanshi. Today is Wednesday, and that means it's time for the last week's queer reviews, where I let you guys know about the LGBTQ-themed media, or BL Media, that I reviewed in the past week on the blog. So if you guys want, you can continue watching for the somewhat spoiler conversation. And then if you guys want the full spoiler conversation, then go to the blog post, link down below. First, we're going to talk about Part-Time the Series. If you guys don't know, Part-Time the Series is a TV show from Thailand. It is a TV show about college students, mostly freshmen, as they go through their lives struggling to find jobs, find a home, a place to sleep, find friends, find lovers, find a way to study and pass their classes, and all that and more. It is a drama, but in a lighter tone, not a lot of heavy, dark stuff happening. The heavy and dark is coming later on in this video. Particularly, this episode also has a lot of interesting characters. It has lesbian characters, Melon, who is trying to be a model, and she's getting herself into a lot of troubles because she has a smart mouth. Then there are gay characters such as Hall, who is actually bisexual, and he's trying to figure out why he's so interested in his new friend T, and also why his friend Q is looking at him weirdly. Ultimately, this show is always fun. I always love it. I enjoy it. It is probably one of my favorite shows from this year. The thing is, though, that it's such a solid show that at the same time, it's not exciting. You know, it's so good that it's just like, it's okay. And that's kind of a sad thing to say, but at the same time, it's not really that much of a complaint. I still love it all, and I love all the characters. Particularly in this episode, I loved seeing the Q situation. It seems to me that even though this isn't particularly a BL, it's not actually a gay romance story from Asia. It is still very much focused on this gay relationship, on these gay characters and bisexual characters. It's kind of funny to me how it is so much focused on that. And so I really love seeing that. I really love always having something to say about that. Though I really wish they would give the lesbian couple, the lesbian relationship, something to talk about, because that's just been up in the air for the past 6 episodes now. I really have to kind of emphasize with Q, he's such a sad character. He's the typical cliche best friend who's been pining for his best friend, but at the same time, just the way that they've handled the situation is interesting and compelling. That character was so sad and mellow. The song was so beautiful that played in the background. And I just think the actor and the directing are really pulling off that storyline very well. Generally, like I said, this show is entertaining and fun, but it is nothing that amazing. So I will give it a 3, honestly, but that's mostly just because it's so solid that it's not amazing. Next, let's talk about Caste Heaven Volume 1. If you guys don't know, Caste Heaven is a Japanese manga, yaoi manga that is about it's about a whole lot. It's essentially a high school that's ruled by this mystery caste system game, where every classroom is set up by a set of rules, where one day a deck of cards game happens where everyone in the classroom has to go on a scavenger hunt to find a card, and if they bring the card back, they are then assigned a role that they must live out until the next game. That means if they get a king card, then they are the king, they are the class ruler, they are the popular guy. If they get a joker card, they are the target. They get to be the target for bullying. And then there's everything else in between. The nerd, the prep, the everything else in between. This volume sees 2 different pairings and 2 different relationships. It sees the main character, Kusa, as he falls from grace. He was the king, and then he becomes the target. And then the guy who was supposed to be his right-hand man, his lackey, ends up becoming the king and becomes violent, aggressive, and forces a sexual relationship onto Azusa. And then there's a second pairing that I honestly did not find this entertaining, but was about a nerdy target guy who becomes a middle ground Jack, I believe it is, and he is supported by this guy who it seems popular and nice, but really has some creepy, obsessive tendencies. Overall, I really enjoyed this comic. Mind you, heads up, it is very, very mature, very dark. It is mature both for heavy sexual content and then also for the fact that it is a very dark story. but at the same time, I praise it for its dark story. While I did not like the tyrant who falls in love, or the tyrant falls in love, because it had a rape situation, but it was framing it in a romance, I appreciated this comic, Caste manga, because it was very much a dark story and it was presenting itself, this is not okay, or this is a sort of dystopian situation. In that sense, it reminded me of classic novels such as 1984 or The Lord of the Flies, where it really depicts the darkness of humanity, and I really appreciated that. In addition, I liked how all of the characters had a hidden depth to them. There was the main character who seemed very haughty and very out there, feeling himself, I guess. And then, of course, that's because he comes from a poor family where his mother is a prostitute just to feed him. And then there is the other character who is brought up as a politician's son and very posh, proper. But then, of course, because of that, his only relaxation is being this dark, disturbing guy and his obsession with the main character. So generally, I really appreciated this manga. I thought it was very interesting, very dark, very mature, but very interesting. So I will give it a 5 out of 5 stars. And that is it for this last week's queer reviews. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like it, to share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Queer Fudanshi tries to share LGBT media and BL media through news, reviews, and good conversation. So let's get talking. Bye. Go check that out here. Actually, I can't do linking anymore, so I don't know why I'm doing this.